All right, we're recording. Here we go. Hi, greetings, Cancer. This one's for you. Okay, this is Tarot Lumination, and we're doing this mini playlist. I'm calling it Through the Gateway. Okay, what now? I'm focusing specifically on the new ingress of Uranus into Taurus and the new moon in Pisces. Together, my feeling is that these represent a gateway moment, one of the most significant dates in the whole year. Okay. That's why I'm doing this little thing about it, just for this purpose. Okay, so just a quick reference to the Tarot Lumination Astrodoodle for March. You can see it's, well, you know what, and I don't want to go into it too deeply, but this is the Pisces new moon we're talking about, and this is the ingress of Uranus into Taurus. Okay, so these two combined, from my perspective, are very much like a gateway to the unknown. Okay, so here's the storyline I've been asking people to consider. Pretend you just want a cruise ship holiday, okay, like one of those 10-day or 7-day, 5-day cruises, and you go off to somewhere that you've never been before. You're with a bunch of people, perhaps a bunch of Tarot Lumination love tribers, and Tarot Lumination, maybe even your guide or tour guide or something. And then so they tell you, like, hey, guess what, everybody? We're going to arrive at the next port, and we're all going to get off, and we're going to go into this cool place that none of us have ever been before. And it's going to be an interesting experience. It'll be the same event, but it'll be a different experience for each one of you. So, because that's what happens when you go on these tour guide things. And they typically give you maybe like a little brochure and a little wave, and they point you, okay, the entrance is that way, and then you go through the gateway and it opens up, and there's this whole new thing in front of you, whatever that is, your new landscape. So that's the perspective I'm asking you to take here. So it's very much about going through the gateway, and then the big question mark, what now? Okay. So I'm going to keep it really simple. You know the routine. You've been here before. Watch for your sun, moon, and rising, and reinterpret everything to suit you, especially after you've, absorbed it all. Sleep on it for a day or two. Sometimes these readings resonate with people immediately. So the cards are well shuffled in advance. We're going to go to the last second so that you're a witness, and we're going to keep it simple. By the way, can you recognize this? I'll give you a hint. Los Angeles is way, 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 way over here, or more like here. It's about 7,000 miles away. And here is an island, okay? Well, it's actually 2 islands. It's a whole country, in fact. And Tarot Lumination is right here at this moment in time, just on top of my fingertip. So there you go. I'm not going to say anything more. You can figure it out. Normally, the orientation of this image would be like this on an atlas or a map. So that might give you a clue. Maybe you have to tilt your head sideways and look at the screen sideways. All right. So cards are shuffled, and we're going to cut it all up. Bless the deck. Bless every single card. Bless you, Cancer, for being here. One of the best ways you can say thank you is to become a member. Membership is really important for this channel. And when you go to the links below, you will understand when you go to you explore that stuff, okay? Meanwhile, let's get on with you, Cancer. Here's the situation. Here's the challenge, and here's how we're going to handle it, all right? So before I get into this, I just want to go back to the chart and refer to something here. For you, Cancerian, this new beginning here is very much out in the public arena of your life and your world. And typically, Cancer, you like to be at home and quiet. So it might feel uncomfortable. Now it is Pisces on the new moon, so that is comfortable for you. It's just that the gateway experience, by definition, could be a little nerve-wracking. You might be getting butterflies, like maybe like, hey, Tarot Lumination, what are you saying? What is this gateway thing? What are we talking about? What now? What now? And you just want to curl up and go home. Okay, well, that's not allowed here. This is about new starts, new beginnings, new perceptions, new horizons with foreign places, foreign people, foreign cultures, greater wisdom, greater understanding, travel, the seeking out of the travel and expansion of your life and your world and your perspective, and that opportunity coming to you, okay? At the same time, that is impacting your place in society, your place of goodwill, your place of almost surrendering to your more evolved role in society, as opposed to just what can I get out of my life. It's like, where do you belong in this world? How can you participate with humanity, and how can humanity interlink with you on a much broader scale than you might have been used to? So let's have a look. All right, don't be scared. What's the weather like? Let's have a look. This is weather. Okay, it's external energy that influences. Okay, and you have the Five of Swords here. So my feeling is that with this energy pattern, there's a couple of instant messages that I got from this. Is that, number one, be very careful that you don't get tied up in like lose-lose situations or unwinnable arguments, communications, attitudes, perceptions that might be triggered as you go through the gateway period, okay? Because you might, simply because it's a gateway in Cancerians, you tend to be very sensitive. So any sudden change in the environment, and this is a big change, this and this, these are big changes in your environment, that could trigger fear and retraction of heart and soul energy, to the point where you might feel defensive and not knowing what to do or how to do it. And so you could behave in such ways that might be counterproductive. So in other words, again, I think with the Mercury retrograde here, sorry, let me just point that out, just so we're sure. There's a Mercury retrograde over here. Then you wouldn't get stuck. In other words, you wouldn't put your foot in your mouth. You wouldn't say things. Please think before you speak, okay? Next thing, what I want to feel here is, please don't dumb yourself down or lower your standards, your thoughts or perceptions, or compromise yourself in order to, let's say, accommodate other people's inability or lack of ability or unwillingness to like operate at your frequencies, okay, Cancer? So you are evolving just like everyone else. You are evolving and growing and adapting in order to blossom. And that's, you know, part of life. That's part of why we're here. And if you are seeing opportunities, for example, the Pisces new moon there, and you can see the rewards and the potentials from the Uranus and Taurus entering your 11th house, and that's exciting for you, and you want to go for it, and you need to do what has to be done in order to prevail, in order to blossom, in order to evolve, grow, and adapt, then please go ahead and do that. And if other people can't handle that, or if they're having difficulties with your evolution, please, that's their problem. It's not yours. And so there's no point in feeling like ashamed or, let's say, guilty for their inability to handle these things. That's they have their own issues to deal with, okay? It doesn't, you're not allowed to gloat, or you can't like just say things like, I told you so, I told you so, I told you so. It's very, we need to be very cautious with this energy so that you don't slip into like taking the bait of unwinnable arguments, okay? What's the situation? Okay, with the Four of Swords here, this is emphasizing what I'm feeling here already, in that in order for you to take full advantage of this gateway and the what now experience, what I'm hoping is that you maybe get a very, very deep sense, like use the Cancerian sensitivity in such a way that you can perceive a chance for healing for yourself and for a significant other or for significant others. I like to include the energy field of relationship when I see this Four of Swords. And for this kind of healing to happen, my feeling is it requires a deliberate withdrawal from anything that would normally trigger conflict inside of yourself coming at you, or coming at you from another or your environment in such a way that instead of reacting to it and feeling that you have to protect and defend your rights, principles, beliefs, and all of that stuff, you can more likely see it as a signal, like, aha, that the feeling of tension, that feeling of being riled, being challenged, being undermined, being thwarted, where I have to behave in ways that I wouldn't normally like to do. Instead of reacting and taking the bait to those events, circumstances, you see it as a signal, like, aha, this is the work that I need to do on myself regarding healing. In other words, deliberately withdrawing from anything that could be observable or defined as conflict, and instead take a very gentle, soothing, healing posture. Okay, I'm going to go back to this. Okay, I'm going to take this Piscean energy here. It's very much to do with healing for you in this part of your chart. So I'm feeling like it's a journey. You're on a journey of healing, and it's your whole life is going to expand regarding like deep soul healing, deep soul mate healing between yourself and another or several significant others, really, really key characters in your life. Because I have to, okay, I'm just going to add it here, because we still have to include all this heavy duty stuff going on in your 7th house, all right? And Jupiter in the 6th. So there's a strong theme of healing, but it's like that feeling when you get into a hospital or a doctor or a clinic and you just arrive there and you say, listen, I don't know what's happening to me. I know I can feel I'm branching out, growing and expanding, but I'm getting these weird symptoms. I don't know what they are. I don't know where they're coming from. I get irritated by the slightest thing. I get inspired by the slightest thing. I'm really anxious. I don't want to hurt other people's feelings. I don't want people to hurt my feelings. I'm a Cancerian. I'm hypersensitive, and I want what works. And then the doctor says, well, okay, well, you did the right thing, coming into a healing place, into a healing environment, into a healing state of mind. And then the Cancerian goes, oh, huh, I never thought about it that way. That's what you do, isn't it, doctor? Yes. Now, it doesn't mean the doctor's going to figure out everything right now and say, okay, you need to do that, that, and that, take this pill, this pill, this pill. You know, it's not like that. All we're suggesting is that there is healing required here. And it looks like it's going to be a healing environment and experience that is much bigger and broader for you. In other words, you might go through these potentials for very, very deep, subtle soul healing in a new place, in a new sense of home, in a new environment, with foreign people, foreign places, new wisdom, new understanding, new knowledge that would not happen without the gateway, okay? So it might be a little unnerving for you. It might be very, very queasy with this energy, okay, Cancer? Like deep uncertainty. Cancers can be very, very sensitive to uncertainty. They don't like it. All right, let's have a look. What's the challenge with this? For fear of being alone. I totally understand you, Cancers. Look at this. You see this little tiny, you probably can't even see it on here, but this is a couple. A very, very beautiful, beautiful couple who obviously love each other. I don't want to go into very accurate definitions because they could be interpreted in so many different ways. And there's actually a beautiful, tiny little home there in the background as well, with a golden gateway portal that you can see through. So my feeling is that there's a deep part of you which is going to be abandoned and left out, and you're not going to receive the healing or the comprehension or the understanding or the journey that you deserve, the attention that you deserve, like the feeling of being brushed off by a doctor or friends or family or loved ones, or being neglected or being shortchanged to the point where you're scared of, you know, just imagine, again, you go to the doctor. Let's say this whole gateway experience, what now thing, feels to you like a potential healing experience how do I expand and grow in my life, where healing is the #1 theme. It's the #1 priority. Okay, I'm putting that Piscean energy way, way at the top of your chart here, and getting you which is getting you ready for a new sense of career and destiny unfolding. And it might be very, very sensitive for you right now, because it looks to me like the last thing you want is to be alone. The last thing that you want is to have to deal with this experience on your own. Okay? And that's understandable. Now, of course, the inverse here is that, ultimately, all healing is self-healing, which means we have to deal with our own CRAP, and we have to clean up our act, because that's ultimately what we do. And the doctors and the facilitators, the yogis, the chiropractors, the surgeons, the tarot illuminations of this world, we're there to help. But ultimately, you are the one that heals. We can help you. We can do all of that. But ultimately, you're on your own. And it looks to me like what you would deeply, deeply desire is to have something very cozy and intimate, where you do feel safe and protected and have the opportunity to heal without any kind of impediment. And in so doing, you can learn amazing things that you can teach to humanity. Okay, that's where I see the link here. Okay, like your own very sensitive new journey here, awkward, sensitive, but ultimately good for you, is ultimately good for humanity in some way, shape, or form. You might be learning things that are just very, very hard to learn, very hard to understand, but it gives you new wisdom, new knowledge that ultimately you can share with humanity. Okay, how do we deal with this? Okay, with the Hangman here, my feeling is that you almost don't have a choice except to allow yourself to go through the very, I would say, awkward process of being disembodied. A friend of mine, here's a little story, a friend of mine just went into one of those sensory deprivation tanks, and it was deliberate. She did this specifically to facilitate her own expansion, spiritual growth, and healing. And she described it to me, and it was very strange, how you almost feel nothing, how you feel disembodied, because they float you in this super high concentration salt pool, and then you don't have any stress on your body anymore. And so you do this deep, deep relaxation, and then you come back into your body, and then you recover, you go back to your day job and whatever. So my feeling, the way to handle this experience that we're talking about here, the gateway moment, and what now, if you're feeling shaky about it and quivering and getting butterflies and queasy, then please see that as, well, that's to be expected, because a lot is happening to you. Okay, it's not, the Taurus energy is harmonious for you, the Pisces energy is harmonious for you, it's all working for you. It's just that it's very new, and it's very, very different, and it's taking you to new horizons, and that alone can be intimidating. So this is going to sound strange, but my feeling is the way to handle it is allow yourself to trip out, to feel disembodied, to go into a state of astral travel, so to speak. Allow yourself to expand your consciousness. I don't know if you've ever been in those situations where you get very frightened about something, and then you can feel your soul leaving your body as your body prepares for some kind of shock or trauma. That's what I'm sensing here. But this is not brutal. This is very gentle, and it's ultimately very good for you. It's just that it might be so disorienting and weird, like it is for everybody, simply because we're going through this gateway and we've never been here before in humanity. So you have every reason to wig out just like everyone else, okay? So we're allowing for that in this reading. So it takes great courage for the Cancerian, who likes to be very safe and cozy and secure, to allow this new start, new beginning, disruption to happen, even though it might be very unsettling for you. Okay, now I'm going to put these aside for a moment, because I want to pull one more card for you. Okay, Cancer, and it's about surrender. It's the power of surrender. I love this deck. There's really no book with it. There's just a few keywords. So you can reinterpret however you want, but the idea is that it's so contradictory to the ego and survival and growth and evolve, grow, adapt, and blossom, because it makes you feel like you're losing, like you're going to fail. Like why, Tarot Illumination, are you talking to me about surrender, surrender, surrender? But in some ways, it's the best thing to do, because it's actually like opening a gateway to the new things that you actually need, as opposed to holding on to an ancient, redundant past that is basically obsolete. So it could feel almost traumatic until you go through the disembodied process. Allow that to happen very, very gently, you know, days and days at a time, just little bits at a time. Or maybe you'll have random larger events where you can feel like some of the weird triggers and events that people have been writing and describing to me here. And allow it to happen. Allow it to flow through you. Allow the fear to flow through you. Allow yourself to feel alone, scared, and frightened. Allow yourself to detach, become disembodied, and to go into a gentle state of astral travel, and see it as a way of opening your heart to receiving much more healing than you could receive in your existing state of mind, your existing lifestyle, so to speak. All right? So let's have a look. In other words, what do you need to let go of? That's so hard for Cancerians. I'm trying to help you, okay, Cancer? All right, here we go. Cards are well shuffled. I'm going to cut it up, and then we're just going to pull one card. It's going to be the top card for you, okay? Sorry, I'm losing the grip here. So here is your card, all right? Dear Cancers, surrender low self-esteem. Oh, Cancers, I know you can be super, super sensitive, and anything that triggers fear or lack of love, lack of appreciation, lack of understanding, lack of nurture, lack of like a sense of home and family and loving relationships makes you retract in fear. You know, just think of what crabs do. They just clam up. They use their exoskeleton as fearsome protection, because they know deep down inside they are very delicious and desirable and vulnerable to predators and anyone else who mistreats them. So you could feel like you're in a constant state of low self-esteem from having to live in so much fear for so long. Remember, dear Cancerians, in terms of relationship, you've been dealing with this aspect here for years, and it's going to go on for years. So but it's very deep, and it could be intimidating. So you could have like chronic low self-esteem. Totally understandable. So let's read the note. It says here, it's like, pretend this is for you specifically. Dear Cancer, surrender low self-esteem. Dear Cancer, you deserve success, love, and abundance. You deserve this, okay, Cancer? Set an intention to identify and release any remnants of low self-esteem. Okay, that's actually a huge order. It might be an idea to do all this in little tiny bits at a time. Every time you feel like weak, frightened, scared, and retracting, and alone and scared, like you want to just retreat in your shell, even from your dearest and nearest, and you start to freak out and allow yourself to be disembodied, please treat that as the opening of a gateway that you can identify the remnants of low self-esteem. Put a name to it. Why do you feel low self-esteem about this or this or this or this or this? Put a name to it. Put words, put it on paper, and then sit with that for a little bit. And do that systematically, methodically, practically, as a form of healing, like a healing practice. You've got to reveal it to heal it. So my feeling is, in order to surrender low self-esteem, set the attention to identify significators of low self-esteem and release the remnants of low self-esteem. Releasing, you've got to release it to heal it. You've got to reveal it to heal it. One of the most effective, quick ways to do that is to put it into words, say it, speak it out loud, talk to someone that you care about, talk to someone who loves you. You don't have to be alone. You can do this with someone you deeply love and someone who deeply loves you. identify what it is, no matter how sensitive and difficult it might be, put it in words, talk about it, and that brings it to the surface so it has a chance to heal, okay? I'm going to read this part again. Dear Cancer, you deserve success, love, and abundance, okay? So I feel that you're going to learn a lot through all of this, and from there be able to teach a lot. But it's in a very obscure, indirect pathway. I don't think a lot of people would choose this as a pathway for life or a way to become qualified and more spiritually evolved and healing, that you can be there for others. But that's what this looks like from here as a storyline, okay? Thank you, dear Cancer. All the best. Please get in touch if you need backup, all right? Bye.